Good morning, everyone. This is another session and a brand new series of face analysis. In this series, we will be having at least 10 episodes and we'll be covering every part of the face, starting from the eyes, then going to every different feature of the face. Now, eyes are the most important feature because they are very accurate in terms of giving the predictions, judging the character, or be it any other mood. So sometimes we see people to be happy, sometimes they are sad, sometimes they are jealous. So all these kind of things can be very accurately predicted from the eyes. Now, to start off, we will start our discussion with the eye size. Now, in this case, you can see to a good extent that the eye size is quite big. Eye size is quite, at least normal. We wouldn't say that the size is too small. So if the eyes are big, the person is able to express himself well. And we obviously know that Einstein was a very expressive person. He came out with a lot of theories. His expression, his vocabulary, stuff like that was very good. But on the contrary, if the eyes are very small, the size goes to be smaller somewhat, the curve becomes smaller, then we find a person who's slightly more secretive, right? So that is what the eyes tell. Now Shilpa would tell us more.
Yes, coming back to eyes, if we say that if we take the slant of the eyes, we see sometimes a person's eyes are raised upward, and sometimes we see someone whose eyes are slightly raised, slightly downward. So when the person's eyes are raised
So
upwards,
raised something like this.
yes, that
Okay.
shows the person is an opportunist
Uh-huh.
and very optimistic in nature. And then on the other hand, if the person's eyes are downwards,
Okay.
then the person is like self-depreciating. He's not very happy about himself. Probably he criticizes himself much more. Somewhere pessimist nature.
Okay.
Now going
What
further,
about the neutral? There is also at times where is there is the neutral eyes, right? It's not even upwards, it's not even downwards,
yeah, that shows the person is more balanced sort of person.
right?
He is neither very optimistic or pessimist, because we see whenever a person has these qualities of optimism and pessimism, then they are required at both the times.
Right.
So
Balanced person.
balanced person, yes.
Right. Now going with another important feature, that is evenness of the eyes. Sometimes the eyes are of not the same size. Obviously we do understand that they are quite symmetrical and they should be of the same size. But at times they can be very asymmetrical, or the symmetry might not be there. The sizes might be different. One eye might be slightly smaller, other eyes might be bigger. So there can be a lot of combinations that way. And this always indicates towards some kind of a brilliant personality who has a totally different outlook, a very fresh outlook, or a very different outlook. You can say unconventionality as well. So these people are always welcomed, and they will be having a different point of view, and that's why they have their presence felt.
Yeah, these sort of people are also very good in terms of business, because they will bring new ideas and new opportunities.
Innovation is there.
Yes, yes.
Right. Because they can see from a different perspective.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Then moving further, we would say about the eyes, how deeply the eyes are placed. Somewhere we see that if the person has very deep set eyes, like in this case,
So they deep set means they're approaching like inwards, somewhat they are in.
yes, yes.
Right.
So in case of this photo, we see this person has somewhere a bit deep set eyes.
What does that mean?
Deep set eyes signifies intensity, how intense the person is, and also we would say somewhere there is an openness, because this person is observant by nature. He observes everything. He keeps
Okay.
up observing, and somewhere things in his mind. So somewhere
Right.
we see that intensity coming into picture.
And what about the other way?
Other way, if the eyes are outside, then
Yeah, basically, if they're not that deep set, it's more so of a sign of a person who's a risk taker. Somewhat at times it's also an indication of immaturity at times, not always, but the deeper the set eyes are, the more mature, the more serious. All these kind of things becomes more. Now going on to another topic, that is the eyelid. Now clearly the eyelids are this part of the eye. So uh, these part of the eye which is covering the top eye, which acts as a protection for our eyes, that those are known as the eyelids. And of course eyelids can be thick or thin. So suppose the eyelids become very thick. Now, if the eyelids, or the skin is very thick there, then it's more so of an indicator of a person, who is who is a bit, what we call,
Who is
uh,
more prone to private relationships?
private relationships become important, and the thin eyelids is professional life becomes much more important. So
And yeah, the thin eyelids also has a sort of detachment.
uh-huh.
So if such people are there into business, then they are actually good because they detach themselves very nicely.
Right, so for professional purposes, we are looking for a thin eyelid person. Who has a thin eyelid, he would be professionally very good.
Yes, and the
And
thick eyelid person would be
interpersonal relationships,
private
intimate
relationship.
relationships,
Yes,
private relationship becomes far
very
more important.
important.
Right.
Then coming back, if we move further, we would see about the iris. Now here we see the iris are not visible because completely the white area is covered. But if we see in some cases, in some people like we would say Mrs. Dinah or else Michael Jackson, his iris was pretty visible.
Okay, so what does that mean?
uh, Iris floating would mean if the iris is visible downwards, then you'd say the person is somewhere inwardly disturbant.
Okay.
He has a very high expectation, high goals, and also wants the same from others.
Right.
But whereas if the iris is floating upwards, then these people have explosive temper. So we would say many cultures would call such eyes as wolf's eyes.
That's very interesting. And of course, now we did discuss about the upper eyelids. Now let us try to understand the lower eyelids as well. Now the lower eyelids, at times, as we can see in this case, it's curved, right? If you can see, it's curved. So whenever this lower eyelids kind of becomes curved, it's more so of an indicator that the person is sort of open and very open to things and stuff like that. But when the eyelids become straightish, which is not the case, but at times it can become straightish, it is more so of an indicator that the person has become more so a bit defensive. So that is what the lower eyelids is all about.
Speaking further, if we speak about the width between the eyes, now here we
That
see
is the distance between the eyes?
yeah, distance between both the eyes. So here we see a pretty I'll not say very small distance, but yes, the distance is pretty small. Such type of people are detail oriented,
So the
and
narrower the distance, the more detail oriented.
the more detail oriented, and they
Right.
want accurate results.
So this person is likely to be very precise, accurate, and that's what he is.
Yes.
Right.
And then again on the opposite side, if we see if the if both the eyes are a bit far away, then
Uh-huh.
that person is a visionary. He sees things that are to be done, that is very prudent in nature.
Right.
And then maybe a trendsetter, goal oriented person. So
Right.
yeah, somewhere even this type of eyes we see a lot.
Right. So, of course, to just summarize it for you, we started with the basic eyes, the different structures. We covered the upper eyelids, the lower eyelids, the slant. Basically, the lower slant, the upper slant, and the medium slant. So the lower slant is more pessimistic, upper slant is more optimistic, and this is more so balanced. And then upper eyelids also, we discussed that if the upper eyelids are thick or thin, like thick is for more private relationships, thin is for more professional. The lower eyelid also, if they are curved, then the person is more open. If they are straightish, then
Defensive by nature.
defensive.
Yeah, and then we have seen how the deep set eyes affect a person. Apart from that, the width between the eyes. So that's all for now.
Hopefully you understood a lot about the eyes in detail in this video.
We have 9 more videos to come in this series. Keep watching. Stay
Stay
tuned.
tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day. Bye bye.